Hey guys, welcome back to Trekyards. He's Commander
He's got a
Cockins.
Foley.
And today we're here to talk about an interesting ship, a
Mm.
fan design ship.
Yes, for a fan film to be made hopefully by Oliver Lavery Frog from the chat. So you probably recognise his name if you've been part of this community for a long time. Because we had a discussion about this. I said, "Oh, how long have you watched?" He said, "Oh, a couple of years," and we kept going backwards. Oh, pre-COVID, yeah. Pre-discovery, oh yeah. Pre this, oh yeah. And realised it was like 9.5
Since the
years.
beginning.
Yeah, it was basically it was like, oh, quite a while then. So we like Oliver. And this is the ship he designed.
Yeah,
From
the
scratch.
USS Enceladus, I believe, for his fan film Prisoner 47.
With first of all a great graphic, which certainly oh dear, some stuff's gonna happen there. But yeah, here is the ship, custom designed by him, custom built by him, custom learned by him, custom rendered by him. Kind of what I do with my things, except I actually built it as well, because I do a lot of other stuff.
Wow.
Yeah, and quite detailed, fair to say. I will say we did a live with him, so go check out Prisoner 47, the live stream we did, which was quite interesting when we chatted with him live. He calls it the baby sovereign, and that's one of the inner jokes of it, that you want a big ship and you get a baby sovereign instead, and all the problems kind of come in there. But Stuart, what do you think of his custom designed starship?
It came out all sovereigny. That's fine.
Freeman
That's
would
the
be
point.
disappointed in Oliver.
She would be, yeah.
Where's the Cerritos details?
I think it's fantastic, honestly. Like, it's a perfect addition to the fleet. Looks like a much smaller ship than the Sovereign, obviously, but maintaining those hallmarks. And I'm excited to kind of get into more on it. I love that he's got like a detailed interior and stuff here, and you can just see the scale from the windows. So, yeah,
You know how much I love
it's
an
great.
interior. Love an interior.
Yeah. What did you think? I know you love ship design and stuff like that. So, what's your take on this?
I love the texturing.
Yes,
That's my first thing I'm going to say, because it feels incredibly... Yes, there's more reflectiveness than you'd find in a normal ship, but I really like the texturing. It feels straight out of a VFX house at the time with that little bit of enhanced render engine. So I really like that. It's not a fan... And while he does want to update things, it's not trying to make a modern sovereign. It's trying to make a alt sovereign with some tweaks. So at least it feels like a, of the era. I like it, but I wish the nacelles weren't carbon copies. Because every element that's carbon copied, for me, diminishes from it. Whereas everything that's new, I think, elevates it. I love new nacelles, and I've never quite loved it of taking, let's say, whatever, 100-meter long sovereign nacelle, which are designed to work the way it is, and of shrinking it down to like 50 meters or 40 meters. Like, it would not look the same, right? I mean, it can look similar. Like when we had Rich Sternberg design my Horizon nacelles, obviously I was using inspired of this, and this, but he designed a new nacelle. Yes, you can miniaturize design elements, as in stylistically, but if it looks the same, it'll probably function the same, but then being 1/4 the size, because this is small, right? So that's my big note of this shot anyway. The rest of the design looks quite nice, but what do you think about that as a comment?
Well, I agree with you. I do think the nacelles look fantastic here.
I do agree as
But
well.
yeah, as you were talking, I was thinking of ways you could change it, like that little square or rectangle on the front of the nacelle. Just cut that out and have the red glow there. Have something different visually that says their sovereign design like, but not exact similar. Yeah. So
yeah, no, you're right. Absolutely, make that middle bit a Brassard. Maybe add a bit more hull to the bottom of the lip of the bottom of the Brassard. And I would actually extend the black bit at the front, the end of the front of the coil down like a third, and then make it that kind of orange color, that in between grilling of the TNG one. So you've got maybe only 2/3 of the coil is blue to kind of make it feel a little bit different, and that would be almost all you need.
But no shade. I mean, this looks fantastic, and I can see why maybe he did this. He loves the sovereign nacelles. That's cool. I just think it looks great, but yes, if you did want to make some changes to have it a little bit more unique, there are ways to do that. So.
But I also appreciate that I'm very much of the mind, like Rick Sternberg, because I feel like we've done this for a long time. We've kind of learned from the legends a little bit. Both Doug's 8-brain comment, Andrew's it's got to make sense, and Rick's I've had a checklist approach. So I designed plenty of things for various people, and I have literally a checklist of what should be there for a ship to fly. RCS thrusters, blinkies, transporter emitters, tractor beam emitters, impulse engines, phaser strips, torpedoes. These are all things you need. There's not a grey area. You need them. If it doesn't have them, you add them, right? So when I'm sometimes asked why don't I like the Zheng He or other, even the Voyage A. I'm like, because it's missing this list. If you added them, it would feel better. So the fact that I can already see a lot of those elements, I'm like, great, yes. It feels right. It feels.
Yeah, it feels like it lives in the universe.
Yeah. What stands out most to you in terms of new in this picture? Because obviously there's other views.
The Inkura inspired,
Oh yeah.
Pontoon things. That's the main thing. It looks like it's got some Luna class elements at the back of the secondary hull there, somewhat. So, which is also the pontoons as well. So maybe he just really likes the Luna class. But yeah, those are the things that visually just popped to me right away. So
I know we discussed with him on the live. There's a lot of space for windows being utilized. And I remember in the live I said one comment that took him off guard with how simple it was. He was like, "Oh yeah," because it when I say it, you'd be like, "Oh yeah." This model suffers from every window being on. That's a common thing, is that any CGI artist that worked on Classic Trek would say it gives a personality to a model if you turn a variant of them off, because not everyone's crew cores would have someone in at the time. Not every conference room would be active. Every light being on makes it feel CG. If you custom placed rooms that were off, it would give it a lot more life. And he was like, "Oh yeah." Like, it's simple, but I literally use steps where I just turn lights off in my models. It's just a thing you do.
Yeah. I mean, when I built my Ambassador class Enterprise C, I painted all the windows white. And somebody made a comment about that. So I went back and I just randomly put black ones in. And yeah, it looks better. It brings it to life. So yeah.
But let's look at the next view, the bottom, which I know he had some thoughts about. Your thoughts, though?
Well, I love the idea that there's like a corridor, you would imagine, going all the way around. Very reminiscent of like that one corridor in the Orville. Just the windows. Well, you can definitely see the Sovereign inspiredness here with the deflector, of course. And interesting cutouts on the bottom of the saucer. That planetary sensor dome, those are big windows. Well, if it's only one deck, though, this is a small ship. It's really given the vibe of the scale. And the Arboretum windows on the side, while cool, kind of bother me a little bit for some reason. They're just too big, but also not. Like if you scaled this, if you put those on a bigger ship, it would not. I love the, you can see the airlock as well on that ring thing. And there's a lot of interesting little details here. So yeah, no, I think it's very detailed, very thought through, I think.
Yeah, and it's got an interesting amount of hard edges. Even though it's quite a curved not organic, but it's quite a curved ship. It's got a line, so the saucer, you have a nice, and then boom, there's a drop to that big corridor, and then which then dips back in. So that basically is just a corridor ring. I think he said in the live he wanted people to see outside, but if that's just a ring of corridor, again, way too many windows. It feels as if he took every space that's free that's aligned with the outside of the ship and made it a window, which does make it feel like how much internal volume is used by just those rooms, and you can kind of see a lot more just corridors, right? Like there's a lot of not utilized space. I don't know. I would have split them up a lot more. I kind of see the modeling brain of if you take, so when you cut into a model, there's different ways of creating windows, but one way is you take an oval box and you slide it into the geometry, and you cut in a way that creates the reverse shape cut in the hull, and you can often in softwares array that, which is where it clones along a line. So if you clone it along the saucer, so for that window, it'll make equally perfect, and then you just do them all in, right? But that creates for me too much order. I would then remove some of them and make sub spaces and have them more less automated, more custom. Like I don't need full windows across. I would have, okay, that bit's now a this, that bit's now a this. But maybe take out 7 windows and make that side Voyager insect gravity panel, right? Like other little character beats that feels good here, but a bit too much automation. And probably I need more glass, because I can see like Arboretum especially, you can just see straight through it as if there's nothing. I would want to see some level of glass just to diffuse the light, because it's too bright. It's too clear. We are getting into minutia here, but that is also because it's such a well-designed little ship.
It's a beautiful ship. I love
But the
this.
things that my brain doesn't like are quite strong. But does that all make sense, what I said?
Yeah, it does.
Yeah. That's my personal preference. But the deflector's nice, a nice thing. Do you wish he'd bucked the trend and gone for blue, the original concept?
I always prefer the blue over the yellow, but I think this looks fine as yellow, honestly. I don't know. I'd like to see it lit up blue. I'd probably like it more, but I don't want to say that just off the cuff because it kind of suits everything going on here.
Yeah, it makes your canon brain happy, while maybe not the deeper canon brain. One other element you can see here that is purely personal preference. How do you feel about how reflective the ship is? And by that I mean, if you look at the window rim, it's reflecting on the hull, which makes it look like a sheen of polished metal. And just as the way the deflector hits the hull, it's very bright, very reflective. Whereas obviously in original Trek, it was a miniature and they had light passes, and they for most of them had subtle lighting or no interaction. How do you feel being so reflective?
I like it, and I think honestly for this image, it's just to show off. It's like a poster quality image. Like this is something you'd have in the
Yeah.
captain's quarters or the ready room. So it's it's glamorizing the ship, and in real life, it might not specifically look like that under certain lighting conditions, obviously. So
That's
that's my
nice.
take on
I
it.
like that. It's a promo pick, not necessarily an emotion pick. I like that. Next shot though is I love when you have depth of field because it makes it feel so much more alive. And I love that grain on this shot. This is a really really nice shot.
Yeah, like I said, very Luna class elements going on back here in the secondary hull with that kind of trench run for your landing of the shuttle.
Stay on target.
While I like that, the practicality of it in the Star Wars universe would be okay. Like you need to launch ships without getting them shot at as they're launching or landing, sure. But in Star Trek, just pull that back a tad. It gives it an interesting look, and I think it's just for the sake of a visual. Where in practicality, just to pull that back quite a bit, and you'd have a lot more internal volume, bigger shuttle bay, more rooms, perhaps.
A lot more internal
Uh,
volume. Yeah.
yeah, like it looks fantastic. It's just practicality wise, I don't know why you would do that necessarily.
Well, that's in the exact same vein we talked about in a recent video about Stranger Worlds. Because Sean Turner did it out of the blue for one ship, this person likes that and they've pulled it over. So is it faithful and logical thing, but was it logical in the first place? Right? I mean, this is a much smaller ship as you can see. I don't remember exactly. It's similar to Nova, but a bit smaller, I think. If this ship, yeah, if this ship was designed to land, like actually one of its mission profiles was it designed to get in, then I could see this sort of landing zone being really useful because then non
Staging area.
a staging area exactly where you can stand, you can walk. I don't know necessarily why it's better than being inside the ship for tall cargo. Then I can see some logic if for landing, right? It gives you another space that's in between the ship, and you're in the shield bubble or in the whatever. Yeah,
Yeah, and if it did land, I mean, see the running lights going up to the door? It'd be cool if that center part was like in fact a ramp. So once the ship was landed, that ramp goes down, and then you can just access
that's how the Argos
pull,
go up.
yeah, pull things off the ship that way, and yeah, that would be kind of cool.
Yeah, it's definitely for such a small ship that is a huge loss of hull space. I would be interested to see this tweaked so that either side of the pontoon or whatever have you phrase that, there were distinct doors where work bees stayed because work bees are much smaller, and so they decided whoever designed the ship decided that we use work bees so much less we don't want to store them in the main ship because 12 is just such a big space suck. So we're going to have a corridor going to the back of these pontoons, and each one you can step into a work bee, and then it goes sideways out. And they've got a reason for them being out of the way while still being very functional. And then if you just want to quickly repair something, you go out and go on. How'd that feel to you?
Yes, yeah, I think that'd be fine.
And then you've got the impulse engines, and between that, you've got a big giant space, which I think, yeah, if you zoom in, you can barely see doors. I'm not going to judge too much about scale because I think there's a little bit. Well, I'm pretty sure there's a too thin a door material for the scale of
I
ship
don't,
because it doesn't really
I
read
don't,
as a door.
I don't think it's a door. I mean, I love that on this image you can zoom in and see the UFP symbol on the view screen or on the briefing room thing. But yeah, I don't think that would be a door. That would make sense to me.
Yeah, I mean it is a one deck shuttle bay if, But what would that be if it's not? Because it's such a...
Well, it could be the work bees,
Well, sure.
as you said. Like,
Yeah.
yeah, like that'd be great for just a shallow bay with a couple of work bees that need to for repairs or whatever.
Yeah. I mean, yeah. Or a little cargo bay. You can tractor cargo in. Because you don't necessarily need to have the shuttle enter the bay. You could have the shuttle just back up with the tractor beam, the cargo. It docks in, and boom, you've got cargo right there in the saucer. Because I feel like it's deliberately in the pontoon cover, a la the main shuttle bay. So I sense a visual language there.
So yeah, there's a phaser strip in an odd place because yeah, it can fire up and got a good range that way. And it does come out past the pontoon area, but also digs into it. So if you're like rapidly firing, and plus it's in between the nacelles, so it's kind of an odd. It would be for upper dorsal protection, and maybe back as well. But
yeah, I agree. I think that phase strip is too high. It's losing a lot of coverage, and also my brain thinks that the physical space of a phaser strip underneath the surface of the hull and the escape pods there's a danger of the tech not quite aligning, because the phaser strip is not just what's there, it's also underneath it and how power feeds, and I don't think that makes as much sense. So I would personally take out one escape pod down the neck, so it's two, and then move the phaser strip down, so it's between the shuttle bay door and the escape pod, so it's got full clearing. Yes, you've got problem with the top of the shuttle bay, but that's the top, which there is more space. I would have moved that, and then you get a bit more coverage to the saucer. I think that'd be a more logical choice, which wouldn't be that hard to do in this model, but I would not put it right dug there. Next shot, though, is an undershot, which I love to see a warp core ejection. Good, Hatch. Good.
yeah, warp core ejection. You got your transporter emitters
Just
there.
giant ones. Those are really big and different to Voyager. He's because obviously other miniatures they're painted because the ships are big. These are big and chunky. Wow.
And now that I'm looking at it, there's a lot of escape pods for this ship. There's a bunch down here. There's some on the bottom of the saucer there. There's 6 along the spine. There's some up front. And yeah, I understand, like, each escape pod's like 12 people can fit, basically.
In theory, yeah.
Yeah, so
but
it seems like a lot.
But I'm wondering, it's always risky with escape pods. Do you go the literal design of bigger ships? I do that personally because they make sense. But I wonder if he scaled them down to fit aesthetically the ship.
Yeah, maybe.
So they are miniaturized version, not much smaller. But if they're 40% smaller, they need more, because I feel like a ship this small, the Sovereign Bay, they might look bigger.
Yeah, yeah, that's a good point. I didn't consider that, and I think you're absolutely right.
Because they aren't E pods. I know them, and they're lined and they're interesting. I actually quite like them, but they're not E pods directly.
Yeah, it's such a cool visual, these style of escape pods, that it just kind of works on this ship, on this design. So,
and also I like how he's used the black highlighting of the Nemesis one to highlight, and the little lines. He really feels like he took a little masterclass in the subtlety of the E texture palette. He said, "How can I reintegrate this into mine? Not just black panels, or why are they inner white lines? I don't know, but they feel tastefully done in those black zones. It's not." There's something that he's thought about that doesn't just feel like a Stranger Worlds where they just put plating on for the sake of it. There actually has a bit of construction to it, which I really appreciate. Which is ironic, I say that. Front of the deflector, nothing happening, but it actually feels very faithful. So I'm not going to complain, because that there's nothing in front of the deflector on the E anyway. Not really. So empty grey space.
Yeah. No, I like the detailing that he's added to it. There's a sense of realism. Like, again, you can see those large arboretum windows, which... Not quite sure how I feel about those. I need to see like a direct side-on view to really get a feel for that. But there are a lot of windows, as you said, lining the secondary hull.
I mean, it's every square meter. I like Voyager.
Structural integrity.
Well, yes. I mean, I wouldn't say that per se, but you are, correct. Like, I like Voyager in that they have banks of windows. They have sets of 3, set of 2s, occasional 1. It's not just... Whereas the E, and this is fair to the E, John just put windows everywhere. He did not include the Rick Sternbach, Andrew Probert, a little bit, mostly Rick, kind of enhanced it. The sort of logic of the windows, all the big windows. He just kind of put windows everywhere for the sake of it. This has that, but now with the depth and the interior, it feels even more the hull as being like a cheese grater, right? It's taken up with windows.
Yeah.
Next view, though, is a top view, as close as we can get to orthographic.
This reminds me of something else. And not just the Enterprise. I'm not just, you know what I mean? It looks very similar to something that I've seen before shipwise, but I do like this. I do like that he's taken the Sovereign kind of oblong shaped saucer and made it round. Because I love the round saucers. That's why one of the reasons I really love the Ambassador class. Yeah, everything just kind of comes together here and flows. I love where the struts go into the secondary hull. They're not too far back. They're not too far forward. I think they're just kind of perfect. I like it. I like this a lot.
Yeah, it's an efficient design kit bash, not a literal kit bash. So you can pinpoint all the elements, but it all comes together quite well. I'd imagine he did quite a lot of block outs to find proportion, because the way he's sort of cut the neck out balances quite well in this, while still having that sleekness, because boy, that is not a lot of secondary hull. And the nacelles go really far out, but it all kind of feels in proportion with how the front pushes out, so it balances quite well. All right, now a few more detail shots, because we were given a whole wonderful plethora. This is another shot of the front, even more detail, even more, yeah, I mean, I love windows and interiors.
Well, being able to see the interiors, you can see the door, you can see like a door in there. You can see that is the corridor, which is really neat. But yeah, if it's just a corridor because it's dropped down, are there rooms off of that? Because if there are, they'd maybe a step up into each room, maybe.
I mean, maybe it's one long room, like 10 forward lounge, but like a small room, like a bar that just goes around the entire saucer, so you can pick everyone.
It's party shit.
Well, but like everyone gets a sea view. I mean, a space view. A sofa, a table, a chair, and the whole wraparound, with the middle bit being the main bar, and you take the drink and you walk across. Weird.
If it's a bar, I mean, they got an airlock for kicking people out. That's great. You're too drunk. Get out of here.
Oh, but the shuttle is not that far. They can just pull a shuttle around, and they call it Uber. Takes them around. Next shot, though, is a close-up of the back detail. I mean, just, again, lovely texturing, lovely little details. Oh, that's interesting. He's made the neck detail plates actually with an indent, not just flat. That's interesting.
I love by the way, I love your registry number all over. NCC 818111. 811. Blah, 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 blah. It just looks like binary at first glance, which is great. So,
and as Trek fans always do, there's a reason for that. And the next is an ultra close-up of the bridge module, including, just showing off the interiors, which also lit very well. I know I talked to him about them being too bright because they wouldn't light the hull that much. And he pointed out this is more of at least the view talked about at the time, it's more like a NASA shot where they can't get the exposure right, and therefore the interiors are more bright. So that's the artistic reason.
Love the protected bridge in the middle there. The round window is interesting as well. It could be an airlock, but it's just a window. Interesting design idea.
Mm-hmm. I think that's I've seen that on a cannon ship somewhere, but yeah, I think it was one of the Wolf 359 ships where the detail's so low it could have therefore been an airlock, because it's just a little whatever. But he's done it, and a little rim of detail around it. A lot of little things have gone in here, and you can see a little LCARS panel if you zoom in on the front window. That's fun.
Yeah. The detail's fantastic.
I mean, the fact that it holds up this close is a bit extreme, because it shouldn't, really. And the next shot is our last shot, which is the Registry.
Yeah, there's more escape pods in the middle there, which is interesting. There's also ones on the side that I didn't notice before, in front of those big windows. When I first saw the ship from the first image, I thought this front would be like an observation lounge or something. It just looks like it's a hallway here. Like, there's nothing going on in that room, but that's the thing. If you're going to show the interior of a ship, you need to really plan out your interior to make it. So I don't know. I'm assuming he's done that. But that is just somewhere where I would want like a ready room or a briefing room that has a good forward view of the stars coming at you,
Obscured, of course, a huge amount.
Yeah, but I mean, if you're just looking, it's fine.
It is.
You know what I mean.
I know what you mean. But yeah, there you go. Fan film ship, new to the fan film verse. If you want to see it come to life, go support the Indiegogo right now. And other projects from him. Like I said at the start, he's a long time fan of the channel. I met him in LFCC, a recent convention, which was quite lovely. It's like I saw him, I was like, so we just did a live with him, or I just interviewed him, and so it was like I just seen his face, but obviously I didn't know him. Besides that, it's like, oh, it's you. And I reckon, so that was quite fun. And here is his ship. And yeah, got to
pretty
commend.
great.
And people need to make more, Voyager, late Voyager, Nemesis era ship designs, because we are in desperate need of more of them.
Yeah, and I'm eager to see his fan film with this ship going on. I mean, it looks super impressive. I can't wait to, so go, support his campaign and help him out in any way you can. We'd appreciate it. He'd appreciate it. The whole community of fan film lovers will appreciate it. So do all the things you can do.
Yeah, and goes find out on Facebook as well, because then you'll have more updates, etc. Because that's obviously in place it's going to be, and I'm sure it is Prisoner 47 as well.
So comment down below what you thought about the ship, whether you're going to support his fan film. Also, like this video, support us by subscribing to the channel and clicking the bell notification so you get notified when we go live and hang out and do things and do edited content and support fan films.
And if you want to, and double if you want to support us besides the free stuff, then you can directly support us as well as Oliver as well via our Patreon, because we like to do stuff. We do stuff every single week for about 11 years now. Mad. So Patreon, massively important. Help if you can join the channel on YouTube, also monthly, and as helpful. Both get in the fleet video, which we absolutely love, or you can super chat during a live, super thanks on any video, which would be absolutely wonderful, or buy a shirt, or just be part of the conversation in the comments.
That's right. So until next time, he's Commander Calkins.
He's got a Foley. Bye, guys.